Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. We're getting closer to the 6th of August and the 9th of August, the two dates that we probably all know were when the United States military dropped 2 atomic bombs on the territory of Japan, in Hiroshima on the 6th and in Nagasaki on the 9th. 1945, claiming that they will, at least BBC recording that I listened to, the United States dropped atomic bombs over military installations in Hiroshima and in Nagasaki. Now we know the installations, what the installations were. And that's why for me at that time BBC lost its credibility when I heard this audio and in reporting, or at least raised the first questions. And I heard that, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. Yes, I'm old. So, and then we know now how many victims of this bombardments resulted. This, the drop of the atomic bombs were claimed that they are meant to change the political system and the course of war of a independent country, which was Japan, who attacked a territory of United States, which was Pearl Harbor, and they claim here that they have to drop the bombs in order to change the regime, make them negotiate. So you attack civilians in mass 2 times. That's a pattern. It's not an accident, and it was purposely done because they said so, in order to change a regime through terror, because they said the next one is going to be another city. So you create terror. Well, you look at the definition of this and you come with these actions yield a certain kind of term, and that is terrorism. It's not talked about enough, I would say. I'm not talking about holding someone accountable, forever, if that person, said yes, there was a mistake, or this was this, or. But the thing is, they try to justify it, and that's even worse than they try to justify. Yeah, it was needed because we saved this. Well, if I want to get rid of some rodents in that house over there, I will not blow up the whole city, will I? And I saved, the house from the rodents. But in the meantime, I destroyed the city, and I had thousands of victims. So, in order to save American lives by not fighting the Japanese, I'm just going to destroy 2 cities and I'm going to keep going. Is that, I don't think so. Because if you use the same logic in other events, then the same guys who used it in justifying that, those actions, will obviously not accept it as an argument brought forth. Now we have, why I start with this is because of an article from Reuters and August 4th, 2022, and says Russia's ambassador to Japan pays respect at Hiroshima. And he said that his respect at the memorial in Hiroshima on Thursday, saying he wants to highlight Russia's effort to reduce nuclear arms and criticizing a decision not to invite him to a commemoration on Saturday. So he was not invited. Okay, you're not invited of a war crime, because we can escalate it to a war crime. However you want to turn it and twist it and justify it. An army dropped an atomic bombs on civilian target to change the government's direction. However you want to turn it, that's a war crime, that's a terrorist attack. It can be done imagine that, for instance, the Russians will drop right now in Kiev an atomic bomb to make or in Odessa, to make the guys in Kiev, to make the Americans, say, okay, let's go and have a peace treaty now, end the war. Would that be acceptable? And that would save a lot of Russian military from dying. That would be their justification. Would that be acceptable? Of course not. That's why they don't even go there. So this guy Russia was excluded from the ceremonies. Okay, well, next time they will say, you know what, we don't even want to come. We don't even give a about it. How about that? Oh my God, you have to care. What about the war crime? That you guys go over there to commemorate and do what? Anyway, so it says here that Hiroshima became the first city to suffer an atomic bombing on August 6, 1945, and it holds a remembrance ceremony every year on the anniversary of the U.S. attack that killed more. See, the word is attack. Well, you can add some other words in front of the attack. It starts with a T or a C or W C, 2 words, and that killed more than 140,000 people in one instance. 140. Maybe you can tell me another incident in this history where something like this happened. It didn't happen in Coventry. Second World War, no, it didn't happen there. It didn't happen in Dresden by the Allies when they burned Dresden, no. It didn't happen in Hamburg, no. Then it didn't happen in Bucha or Bucha in Ukraine. It didn't happen in Katyn Forest. It didn't happen in many areas because I don't know of anything in an instance to kill. I know that this died within the year, but I think it was like 80,000 people died the first batch. So it says here that on 6 and 9 August 1945, the two bombings killed between 129,000 and 226,000 people, most of whom were civilians. So, and then after the conflict, a lot of people, after the dropping of the bomb, a lot of people died from the result of the bombing. Why am I having this article here? It's not to justify anybody's actions or future actions, possibly. It's just that those people, I'm just trying to point out the hypocrisy, where those people who did it are not called into question. Now, this atomic bomb was ordered, right, by Henry Truman, the then President of the United States of America. He was approved by him. And when he got president, from what I read, when he was, after the death of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, you know how he died, right? All right, we all know that, correct? So after this president was helped to go to heaven's doors, this guy the vice president got to be the president, and only then he was, from what I read, informed about the Manhattan Project and the fact that the United States had atomic bombs and so on. It had an atomic bomb and blah, blah, blah. So he signed, yes, we're going to do this. And it was not an accident. That was a determined decision and conscious. We're going to drop here if you guys don't come to talk to us. We're going to drop it here. And the next one is going to be, I think it was Tokyo or Yokohama. I can't remember exactly. But they were going towards Tokyo. So I never heard about, what's his name? Truman being called a war criminal or a terrorist. No, he's revered as this and that. So do you think he should qualify? I think he should, because as I explained, civilians, he signed the order, he agreed with that, and so on. Now, if I look at the way the world functions, which you don't look for, to be just and all that, this is how it works, how it's convenient for us who have this. That was a natural cause, a natural situation, natural course of how the world is ruled. But if we talk that this is a, we abide by the rule of law, and we call Milosevic a war criminal, and we call Putin a war criminal, and we call this war criminal, but we don't call these guys who bombed civilians in Yugoslavia war criminals, a prime minister and a president at least, because there were more countries, about 12, involved in the defensive action of NATO. Defensive. So, he was not invited, Russia is not invited to something that some did to some civilians, a lot of civilians. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.